Let me talk to the men out there listening real quick. Guys, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction, fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, sleep disturbances? Hey, low libido, ask your girlfriend or wife. She'll let you know if you're suffering from that or not. That's sex drive. If you'll text my name, Clay, in all caps to 601-327-8550, 601-327-8550, Men's Health of Mississippi and the Clay Edwards Show are going to hook you up with a free testosterone screening. They're located in Madison, Mississippi at 120 Fountains Boulevard. You can check them out online, menshealthms.com. But one more time, text my name, all caps, Clay, to 601-327-8550 and get your free testosterone screening scheduled today. Enjoy the rest of this show.
I am so tired of white men failing up. This lack of accountability is a shameful, inadequate, and deeply unsatisfactory, and it is re-traumatizing.
Re-traumatizing. I am so tired of white men failing up. So tired that you've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This, my friends, is the Clay Edwards Show, where we love to play a game called It's Only Racist When White People Say It. That's Ayanna Presley. She looks like Darth Vader, legitimately. She's wearing, Sean, what's that guy's name? Klaus Schwab, with the World Economic Forum guy. He's y'all's Lord and Savior over there on the Democrat side.
I don't even know who he is, Clay. I have honestly no idea who that is.
Do you think the Fondrenistas were going to go after today know who he is?
Maybe so. They probably do. I had no idea until you just said that. I don't know who that was.
He's the climate change god.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I thought it was. I always just remember that girl. What's that? Greta, whatever her name is. Thornburg. Thank you. That's the only one I remember from that.
You know what they're doing with her is it's taking advantage of a mentally ill individual. I mean, she's clearly highly autistic, and they've got her super focused on this crap. Mm-hmm. And it was child abuse. Now that she's 18, it's taking advantage of somebody mentally ill.
She's like a child actor, that gets all messed up in later years. Talking about like Gary Coleman, and I mean, there's a whole list of them.
If Michael Jackson was still alive, she'd be at the
Neverland Ranch.
Wait, never mind. She's a girl.
Oh, that's right.
R. Kelly. If R. Kelly was out of jail, she'd have been got.
She'd be, yeah. Because all those child actors always end up all messed up. Like you always hear those stories.
Well, yeah. I mean, I told you I hung out with Leif Garrett a good bit.
Oh, that's right.
I had a front row seat
to see the destruction.
Daryl Arnold. When we lived in L.A. together, again, my story. Sometimes I was out there sometime between 3 weeks and a year, depending upon who you ask. And when we were out there, he was playing in Leif Garrett's band.
Oh, that's right. You told me that, yeah.
And the other person in that band, no, there's two different bands. Never mind. I said the other person in that band was Julian Lennon.
Oh.
But that was another band, and we actually did get to go to Julian Lennon's house up in the Hollywood Hills, and Daryl, they did some co-writing. It was really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Well, Daryl Arnold's done some cool stuff, man.
Yeah, sounds like it.
You live in L.A. long enough, and you insert yourself into the scene. It's amazing the things that can happen.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Daryl toured the country with Leif Garrett solo band.
You can end up in Charlie Manson's group, or you never know what can happen.
Times get hard enough, you do what you got to do.
I went to remember the.
I ain't gay, but $20 is $20.
Do you remember the what was it, the movie that director Quentin Tarantino did, the one with Brad Pitt? Did you ever see that one, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I saw it the other night that it's available on one of those free service, Roku TV or something like that. Or maybe it's not. Or maybe it was on Hulu. I was like, almost. I have seen it. To answer your question, okay. I almost watched it again.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I just remember, if you don't know that story, I was watching it I was dating someone at the time, and we watched it, and she was like, "Wow, this is what really happened." I'm like, "Nah, this is a little different take on the Manson family," but she didn't know, what it was, and so I think maybe younger generations hadn't heard that story. So when I referenced the Mansons, they're like, "Well, who's that?"
Sean, I got a death threat email last night.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, from the South Jackson gay Taliban.
Oh, okay.
Let me read this to y'all. And what's funny about this is I think that this may be a trans Jacksonian that sent it to me, because it's a girl's email, but it's got a guy's name as the person. Like, you can put your Your email address can be like savejackson
Yeah.
at Gmail or whatever, but it'll say Clay Edwards.
Yeah.
You have to put a name to it. The email address is a girl's name, but the name attached to it is a man's name.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, is this a cult of personality thing here?
Could be.
So here's what it says. And guys, I have a hard time speaking Section 8. So then they didn't use a single bit of they didn't use a single period, punctuation, nothing in this thing. And I'm just going to tell you, man, if our urban youth put as much effort into anything else as they do intentionally spelling stuff wrong, they literally could be future rocket scientists and engineers, maybe even a couple astronauts. Because it's going to take a little trigonometry to decipher this. We're going to need some ancient language historians from the Ancient Aliens show to read the lithographs on the wall.
Right.
It says, hey, you, Y-U, I-O-N. Hey, you, I don't like the fact that you was talking about Willie, A-B-T, in that BBY. I don't even know what a BBY is. In that BBY. It's war behind him, and you done effed up because WDF, whatever that's supposed to mean, you say debt is very disrespectful, and first and foremost, you need to stop specking, S-P-E-C-K-I-N, specking on Jackson and people you don't know, because you can get shot and killed for that. Willie ain't had nothing to do with none of this, and Yeen had to say what you said, because once again, you don't spec on NB, you don't know Willie got people behind who don't play, period. And I would like for you to take that video down ASAP, little brew.
I want to get this guy a subscription to Hooked on Phonics. Am I aging myself with that? You remember that, Hooked on Phonics?
Yeah, actually, so I've been listening to a book, the world we live in, first world stuff there.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a book, and they were talking about, it's that black philosopher, had the black redneck, white, anyway, it's a really good book. Thomas Sowell. I've been listening to Thomas Sowell here lately, and he actually talked about some of the schools in these big urban cities like Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And talked about the most successful ones are the ones that stayed on the phonics program.
Okay.
Versus the ones that moved to this whatever they're teaching, how to teach kids how to read right now. And as you say, Hooked on Phonics, it does age you a little bit, but it's the best way to do it. We need to get back to all kids, and I don't know what programs they're teaching. I mean, I know they've got some kind of new math, 2 + 2 = 5 nonsense, but
yeah.
But this is, I'm telling you, the effort they put into spelling these stuff wrong and trying to create their own pig Latin language, if they would just focus that to reading a book or from schoolwork, or anything else.
Sounds like they were reading the Mississippi Free Press.
Oh,
like
100%.
They're avid readers of that.
100%. 100%. So anyway, that was last night. I think I've figured out what it's about. I think Willie was the 13 or 14-year-old kid that got killed after they stole a Kia.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
the one they're also mad at me for talking about.
Yeah, the one where they wrecked and
one of them died.
Yeah.
So here's my thing with that. I don't care. That's my thing with it.
Oh, talking about the fact that they wrecked and died. No, I don't care either.
Care.
I mean,
FAFO.
You steal a car Friday. And then you get in a wreck and you die, and I'm supposed to have sympathy for you. Sorry, I don't.
I mean, you could have killed anybody else on Twitter. They're like,
absolutely.
So their argument is he didn't know the car was stolen, and to that I say, so your 14 or 15-year-old friend showed up in a car that you know they didn't have yesterday, and you don't think it's stolen?
Yeah,
you're full of crap.
This is my new Benz, right?
Yeah. If any of my friends have showed up in
and I don't have a job either.
If any of my friends, and it's a Kia too, and you know they love stealing Kias because there's some kind of default to them where you can basically walk in and steal them. Come on, man. So I'm not expecting a whole lot of common sense out of a 14, 15-year-old, but I also don't expect 14 and 15-year-old to be straight killers like they are in Jackson. So the rules are different.
Dude, if you show up to my house in a 7 Series BMW, I'm going to ask you questions.
Yeah,
I'm going to be like, where'd you get that car? Got some questions.
You can get those piece of craps cheap though.
That's true. That's true.
I'll tell you what, if I can give anybody any advice out there right now, and I guess I'll never have Hair and Gear BMW as a sponsor, don't buy a BMW. I can't think of a worse car. And take that from somebody who's currently a part owner in a BMW and is having to spend money after money after money getting my child's BMW constantly fixed.
Yeah.
And as a car guy for 12 plus years, I knew better. But it was such a good deal.
Okay, I'm going to say if you pull at my house in a Bentley, I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
How did you get that?
Or how about any new vehicle nowadays, as expensive as they are?
Right.
I show up in a Genesis.
Yeah. We'll get Renee to say he sold you one.
Yeah.
Awful.
I mean, about the only affordable new vehicle I see myself, a nice new vehicle, maybe a Mazda CX-90 from Mazda Jackson.
Yeah, those are nice.
You know, maybe that's one I could afford, and people not have to question how I did it.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you could ask for donations, like I'm going to go back to the free press.
Yeah,
you can ask for donations.
Beg for donations.
Can we ask for donations now? Can we start doing that? Do a GoFundMe for the Clay Edwards Show.
Yes, we can.
I mean,
as a matter of fact, we can.
GoFundMe.
As a matter of fact, we can.
When you have to ask for donations for your paper to exist, I've got issues with that. You know.
Well, it tells me they probably are being fed some money from somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if I just had to guess, I'm guessing if you work off donations, are you a 501c?
Yeah, that's what I actually got their website pulled up right now, and it says give to our 501c3. They're a nonprofit.
Yeah,
I mean, which is obvious, that they're not profitable. Like I'm not shocked by that.
Well, I mean, look, when it was the Jackson Free Press, does that still exist?
I went to their website. You can still click on it and it'll open, but it's backdated for a couple years. There's like a Wikipedia article, so I looked in that, and apparently, I guess whoever bought the whole thing, I think it's all one now.
It's all Mississippi Free Press now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I never politically agreed with the stuff in the Free Press, but they did. It wasn't full of vitriol.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad back then.
Until about the time Kamikaze started writing for them.
Yeah.
And then it became very anti-white.
Yeah, like in the 2000s, it wasn't. They did a really good series on Frank Melton back then. I thought they did a pretty good job.
Well,
on that.
Donna broke the story on Frank going to jail. She happened to be down there. I remember the story. She happened to be down there at the city hall or down at the sheriff's department or something, and McMillan walked by her and said, "We're going to arrest Frank." Yeah.
It was really good. It was good. It was good reporting at that point. And they also could tell you what bands were playing on the weekends. Who didn't like that? Like that point in history, you kind of needed that.
But there was actually a lot. There's still good live music around Jackson. It's not necessarily all in Jackson, outside of Martin's and a few other very select places.
Yeah, and at that time though, it was in Jackson,
oh, man.
so you could pick up the Free Press and know where to go for the weekend.
You had the 7-day-a-week music listings, music listings, and man, they did a great job at that because they sold those advertising to those restaurants and bars, and if you wanted to operate in that, especially in that downtown from South State Street to Maywood Mart area,
yeah,
you really needed to be in the Free Press because that was the crowd that was moving around. You could get those everywhere and see what was going on.
It was a really nice looking kind of paper too. It was big. Remember how big it was?
Yeah.
And you could, it was almost like a coffee table book. You could put it on your coffee table. It looked nice.
Yeah, it was bigger. I mean, I ran a few ads in it. I decided not to pay them at some point because I wanted to see some return on my investment, and I didn't see it from them. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, and then they went from that to now, basically, I call them accessories before the fact to murder.
Well, because
that's what I think they are now.
Well, I tend to agree. Obviously, I can't prove that, but I tend to agree.
It's my opinion, obviously.
Yeah, it's my opinion.
Your opinion.
But because they're enabling these people by not pointing by still blaming all the problems in a community like Jackson. We're going to take a break right after this and come back and we're going to reset this conversation. But these white liberals, the white liberal press in this state, and a lot of the people that live in Jackson are so afraid of being called racist for pointing out the real problems that they're still blaming allegedly a black gay man killed another black gay man in Jackson the other day, or to some version of that. Why aren't we talking about that?
I don't know.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, guys, are you looking for something to do tonight? Do you live in Madison County? You know, we haven't had a good place to hang out in Madison County, out here in Flora, in a while. We haven't had anywhere to talk about since I started this show. Well, fret no longer, my friends. If you're in Madison County, I got something for you to do tonight. Parlor 1886 is open right on Main Street in downtown Flora. Downtown. It's funny, because, you know, like we grew up in Jackson, and you think downtown.
Yeah.
Then you drive down Main Street, and that's technically downtown. It's just, it's funny what's downtown and what's not. I would much rather be in downtown Flora during daylight hours, dark, anytime. And I may very well do it tonight at Parlor 1886. Look, guys, this is not just a bar and grill, sports bar, karaoke place. This is Flora's living room. They got the bar, they got all the TVs, they got the high top tables. Then they have couch sections where you can just sit down, set your drink on a coffee table, look eye to eye with the people across from you. Great place for business meetings, ladies' night, guys' night, couples' night, whatever. So they're not just a restaurant and bar, they're a hangout spot. So whether you're looking to grab a drink, watch the game, or just chill with friends, Parlor 1886 is the perfect place. Parlor 1886 is now open on Mondays, too. Swing by. Make yourself at home at Parlor 1886 right there on Main Street in Flora, Mississippi. Get by, check it out. I'm telling you, y'all going to be blown away at how cool this place is. I know I was. I don't know what I was expecting, but I did not expect what I saw. And they're expanding. They got a big room in the back. They're putting an old school barcade in with like old school Diamond Gems type video games and pinball machines and all that. So it's going to be a fun place to hang out. Y'all check them out. Parlor 1886, Main Street, Flora. All right, Shaun. So we before our weather alert there, and guys, we'll probably get 3 or 4 more of those today. Unfortunately, we're the home base for weather for the emergency network stuff. So we'll have them more than anybody, apparently. And neither here nor there. The podcast won't have those in it, so you can go back and listen to it. And if you listen on Apple Podcasts, please go to my homepage and just pull the screen down. It hasn't updated for some reason since April 5th. It'll update immediately with over a month and a half of shows. Go do that if you're on Apple Podcasts. White liberals in Fondren, Shaun, they decided to come after me yesterday for some reason. I was minding my own business on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just doing what I do. And some fella by the name of Boyd Campbell.
Angry fella. Yeah.
Angry. Insists that he knows me.
Yeah, he was. You're not friends with him on Facebook, are you?
I know.
Yeah, like somehow he had friend requested me a couple weeks ago, and then he started talking smack about you, and that's when I joined in.
Look,
on the opposite side, obviously, but you know.
And look, I know a lot of people say don't breathe oxygen to your haters, but I got time.
Yeah, and you know, I think I got so mad, like I was telling you yesterday on Twitter and Facebook, is because, you know, like this murder happened with this McNair fellow, the guy that got killed, whatever this, we'll get into the circumstances, I'm sure. And whatever it is, though, but, you know, it's at a park that's a pretty, I don't know, I would say just staple of the community. Par and Bridges has been forever.
It's
right?
the only one they've truly taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an important part of Jackson, and, you know, and it was just a shocking thing to happen there. You know, and I think it impacted a lot of people in the community. And so, like, you know, these people start going off on whatever it is. And like I was telling you last night, and, you know, tell the audience too. I mean, like, I just feel like this kind of rhetoric, they're enabling this stuff. They're enabling crime. Like the Mississippi Free Press, these folks like that, it's like they almost want it to happen. And then they don't want to blame anybody for it, because if you do, you're racist, because you can't say that. You can't say that there's a massive crime problem. But I mean, look, y'all, we have a murder in one of what would seem to be one of the safest parks in the city, you know, and I mean, it's gotten completely out of control. And then there's the same people that want to attack Capitol Police because they feel like it's not constitutional, that we shouldn't have Capitol Police or whatever it is.
Racist.
I heard somebody in court the other day say that too, you know, like, but they were for it, but it was just cool. But they, you know, and I want to ask you this question: how many, since Capitol Police started patrolling CCID, if they hadn't done that, how many more dead people would we have if they weren't there?
10,000.
Exactly. There'd be so many more people that were
a million
were killed in that whole neighborhood, because that was what was about to go on in 2021. Like I said, there was 2 carjackings in front of my house in one night, and I mean, just I don't think they conceptualize that at all. Like they're just like, oh, that's this is racist to have Capitol Police here, or whatever. Like, well, you know how many lives it saved? I mean.
Shaun, I've said it multiple times. We were one of those people getting killed away from losing Jackson.
We're absolutely 100%.
Belhaven, Fondren, because all the virtue signaling they're doing, the second it was one of them, you wouldn't have been able to find a U-Haul in the city.
Nope, you wouldn't. The minute one of them got shot, killed, robbed, whatever, because to them it's just not happening. Yep. It's just not. This is all people making it up.
Interpersonal violence.
Yep, making it up because they want to be racist or whatever they want to call us, and all this kind of stuff. And by the way, as everybody knows, I live in Jackson. I've lived there for 25 years now, in that neighborhood, downtown and there, and so I actually care about the neighborhood, and I don't want my neighbors to get killed or robbed or whatever. But I'm not going to deny that there's a massive issue here that we can't just wish away or pretend like it's not happening. And you said at the break, it's like Jackson's Stockholm syndrome with these people. I'm going to use your phrase, white liberals. That is a problem in there, like what they're saying and what they're promoting, because it's going to get people killed, and it already has. By the way, it already has done that. It
just hasn't gotten one of them killed.
No.
Ask Megan West how she feels.
Yeah, and they live a couple streets over from me. I've known Megan and Matt for many years, and good folks. And, like what happened to them on Halloween like 2 or 3 years ago. Horrible thing. And they're very pro-Jackson people, and they're still staying there, still live there. And,
sure.
Their dad, Ben, was on Matt's dad was on the city council for many years. And, he's you can, if you ever want to follow him on Facebook, he'll tell you how he feels about it.
I mean, look, I've never. Him and I never agreed on a whole lot until the last few years, and we agree on a whole lot of stuff now. And I've never met him in person, but I like the way he thinks.
And he got unjustly prosecuted, if you remember, by my old boss Robert Smith. Yeah, whole thing for trying to make Jackson a better place. By the way, that's what he was doing.
Well, it was that racism.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people didn't like the Ben Allen era of Jackson, and so then my old boss went after him for that whole, which was just complete bogus crap.
Well, I mean, I would love to be back in the Ben Allen era, just like I'd like some mean tweets and cheap gas.
And who came out when Matt and Megan and their kids got robbed that night was Kenny Stokes, who was one of the biggest antagonists with Ben years ago. Yeah. But even Kenny Stokes was like, man, we can't have this. Like, I feel like Stokes is more anti-crime than the Mississippi Free Press people. You know what I mean? Like, he gets it because why? He lives here. He sees what's going on.
Yep. Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. Mansplain just asked, who was behind the downtown Jackson trash website? Was that Kingfish? No, it was an
Kurt
attorney.
Crowley, my buddy. Actually, he was a good friend of mine that did that back in 2011. Really close friend of mine. He's not practicing law anymore.
Nor should he be.
Well, was that? I don't. He's driving trucks now. Actually.
No, he went after a bunch of people, good people. I mean, he did some really foul things. He was stalking people.
Yeah, I remember that it wasn't up that long.
Ask
right?
Chip Matthews about that. I mean, he was literally stalking Chip Matthews up in Canton, taking pictures of him walking in and out of his house and stuff.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he crossed the line. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can not like bars, and you can not like, and I get it.
Yeah, because he kind of was doing what you were doing a little bit early, a little bit.
A little bit early, but he was attacking business owners.
Yeah, there was this bar called the Sky Box or something down there.
And it wasn't even a Sky Box. It was actually on the first floor. It was right next to the King Edward,
we both lived at the King Edward at that time.
It's where the record store used to be. Mm-hmm. The techno record store, the vinyl store.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called, but it was down there for a long time. And they had like a little deck. It had tall ceilings. There was like a box in there. They called it the Sky Box.
Something like that. I remember him, and he had his office on the corner right there, right down from the King Edward. And I guess it was like next to that building. I think that's right. What happened where he decided to start that website, and he got in some trouble because there was that one girl started a bar across the street, and that got contentious. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Wendy's Playhouse. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so that's where Chip got involved, because that was really Chip's place.
Yeah.
And it was letting Wendy run it and calling it Wendy's place. And she was a kind of a popular MySpace model.
I remember that.
Whatever at the
Sure.
time. And then they started going after her, and then they started going after Chip, and then they started. And I had just got out of the bar business about 2 months before all this started.
Okay.
And I mean, they started going after the guys that I left at my bar, my former partners, and all this stuff. I mean, I dodged those. I just missed dodging those bullets because I wouldn't have handled it as well as some of the others would. Not at that point in my life.
Yeah, there was another guy too that
What's
got
the saying?
attacked.
There will be blood. There would have probably been blood at that point in my life if I'd gotten drug into that in 2010, 2011 when all that was going on.
Yeah, because I remember Bo, our mutual friend, like is telling me there was a friend of his that got trashed on that site that was like a bouncer or something. I can't remember the guy's name now, but and he was really wanting me to go talk to Kurt about it, and it was a big, it was a big hullabaloo.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, it's all gas, no brakes on white Jackson liberals this morning. We're going to tell you some stories. We're going to tell you how we think that they are, in fact, responsible for all the black-on-black crime in Jackson.
Accessories before the fact of murder.
Accessories before the fact. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, it's pizza night in Flowood, or Brandon, or whatever you call that area over there at Fan and Mart. I forever refuse to call it Brandon. Brandon's on Highway 80, not on the reservoir. But you know what I'm talking about. Fan and Mart on the res. It's Acme Pizza. Best pizza in the 047, possibly in all of Rankin County. Right there in front of Fan and Mart. I'm sorry, in Fan and Mart, in front of Fan and Lanes. Go see Chip Matthews and the team. 7 days a week, 4 p.m. to midnight. Open late, walk in, or dine in, carry out, delivery. It's available. Did you know they have 9 different frozen daiquiris on tap?
Dang.
9 different frozen daiquiris. And as far as I know, I'm not much of a frozen daiquiri guy at this point in my life, but as far as I know,
but you'll drink one. You know you will.
I mean, you throw it down. I have. I guilty as charged. I think it's rude to turn down a free drink.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not buying one, but if one sat down in front of me.
I buy them on the way to New Orleans always, in Hammond. I always get one there.
Yeah.
I think we know somebody else that does too.
Yeah, we know somebody else that does too.
But, yeah, I mean.
It takes priority.
Can Chip's got a show here? Can he bring us some daiquiris on those days?
Well, that's what I'm getting at here. As a matter of fact, he can, because the way they mix their alcohol to daiquiri ratio is it passes the test to be delivery or carry out. You can get frozen daiquiris delivered. They send them in this zipper bag thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. And you can just put a straw in that bag, and it's like a pouch.
And then you got a little plastic bag or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, drink your daiquiris out of a bag.
Well, I needed this morning.
Bag of daiquiri.
While I'm reading the Mississippi Free Press, I really need to get drunk. So
yeah,
so I can
real glutton for punishment over there.
Yeah.
Bang a little heroin, maybe go ahead and slide in some fentanyl with it.
Chip, bring us some daiquiris right now. I got this thing open. Come on, man.
Yeah. So look, man, all our joking aside, Acme Pizza and Daiquiris, they got frozen daiquiris on tap, full service bar, and more. Great pizza. Try the Wheel of Flavor. You can put up to 3 different specialty pies on the one pizza. See which one you like the best. I always recommend the pig, because they cook their pork from raw on the pizza. So it's not overcooked when it gets out. The fat melts down into the cheese. It's phenomenal. Anyway, go give them a try today. Go with an appetite. They only sell large. You can't get a medium. You can't get a small. You get a large. It's priced right. It ain't going to break the bank. They got pasta. They got burgers, chicken strips, all that good stuff, all made from scratch. Try them today. Shaun. Oh, yeah, by the way, we've got Shaun Yurtkuran in the studio this morning. I don't know if I've said his name yet today.
I'm the angry dude today. The anger yesterday really set me off. This week has been a bad week for Jackson and the metro area with Krista Welch and her family getting killed, and then Mr. McNair, and I mean just all this stuff that happened this week. I think was pretty bad.
Yeah, the Tri-County area. I mean, if we want to drag Kapai into it as well, those two people got killed there on the side of the interstate.
True.
There was a carjacking down there last night.
There was a truck stop in Wesson too. I saw.
Guy got killed there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a rather deadly run here in the Tri-County area. With of course Jackson leading the way.
Well, as it always does, number one in murders. Why not?
I get this chuckle every time there's some kind of incident in Rankin County. And people are like, oh, you don't talk about it. And I always do talk about it, by the way. I'm able to pull the receipts.
We are literally doing a podcast about the Goon Squad.
Yeah.
I mean, what more does anybody...
And other than Jerry Mitchell, I would dare to say we've created more content about the Goon Squad than anybody in the state.
Probably so. Other than Jerry, yeah.
Yeah, other than Jerry. And more than the Free Press, more than anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, you may not have seen a 60-second video about it on TikTok or Instagram, because I just think some topics are too heavy.
Yeah.
To squeeze into a snarky 60-second video.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And to me, that's one of them. Those are supposed to be kind of entertaining, funny, informative in less than in a minute or less. I can't make entertaining and informant and snarky in 60 seconds or less for the Goon Squad stuff. It doesn't work for me.
Oh, it just made me think of something too. Like, do you think the murder accomplices over at Free Press are going to like really be mad about that podcast? Like, they're going to lose their like ever-living minds.
Well, because it doesn't fit their agenda, because we're racist bigots.
Exactly.
And we're like some black dude on Twitter was coming at me the other day, and we're talking about crime in Jackson, and like this default now is to post for them to somehow try to salvage the argument is to post a link to the Goon Squad, and I'm like, well, do you know that most of their victims were actually white, right?
Yeah, most of them were.
I was like, I'm not saying they weren't racist. I'm just saying
they were racist, but yeah, they were equal opportunity haters.
Yeah, they were equal opportunity. I was like, did you know that? Can you prove that? Well, as a matter of fact, I can. Let's go over to another liberal rag. I mean, they do some good work, definitely a lot better work than the Mississippi Free Press, but that's the Mississippi Today.
Yeah.
You know, let's go over there. They're definitely not a conservative right-wing organization.
Not.
We can agree on that.
Yeah, at least they're not full of S, though, all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they're liberal, and I went with you on, we've talked about this forever. I mean, just like Magnolia Tribune is conservative, you know, but at least both those publications are not lying all the time. You know what I mean? Like, they're not full of crap.
And a wolf.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that's different. I agree with that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I mean, Phil Bryant would disagree.
Yeah, he would, and I'm on his side on that one. So, but
she slandered you, didn't she?
She did indeed. About 8 years ago, slandered me and a lot of good people. When she worked for the Clarion Ledger, sure. Yeah, pretty terrible situation. But she kind of got egg on her face on that, because the guy that she was like accusing us all of setting up ended up like being on the video packing the dope, and he was guilty. Obviously, he was guilty. You know, that he came out in court. And so the articles kind of went away at that point.
So, what's the guy's name that we were arguing with yesterday? Boyd Campbell. Boyd Campbell. So Boyd made this comment that. Do you have it, Shaun?
Yeah, I could.
The Save Jackson.
He
comment.
may have blocked me now too, because I like.
I think I got the screenshot from you. So I just want y'all to. This is the hypocrisy, and I don't want this to come across like this is me and Shaun pounding our chest or anything like that, because that's not what this is. Trust me, nobody can take heat better than I can. But I just want you to know this is what we're doing.
He blocked me.
Okay, I got it right here. Here's your screenshot.
Okay.
So Boyd was arguing with me on Twitter, but then like him, just like Stacy with the Free Press, they'll start these little fires on Twitter, and then and it ain't been working well for them on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. They've been getting obliterated in their own comments. So they're running over to their personal Facebook pages in their little safe spaces where only their friends, because of course their profiles are private, unlike mine. Everything I have is public. Everything. I don't have anything behind a paywall or a friend wall or nothing. Not my personal page, not the Big Save Jackson page, not my X, not my TikTok, not my Instagram, not nothing. It's all 100% public. Nothing's hidden. So they run over there to the little safe spaces to get affirmation for their viewpoints. So that's what Boyd did. So what Boyd said here, and we're going to call him out on it.
Yeah.
He said, when I first saw that there was a channel called Save Jackson, I thought, man, this is for me. Then I saw it was Clay Edwards, and I said, hey, I know that guy. For the record, you may know me, but if I don't know you, you don't know me. So let me just throw that out there. If I don't know you, you don't know me well enough to, air quotes, know me. But anyway, so he says, either I was missing something important, either I was missing some important part of his personality before, or he's changed an awful lot over the years. But Clay Edwards isn't going to save Jackson. What he wants is to save Jackson from Africans. I've never said that, by the way. And I've heard that song my whole life. Alan Thompson and Ross Barnett were big on that idea. So he says right there that when he first saw that there was a channel called Save Jackson, I thought, man, this is for me. Then he says, man, the screenshot is even blocked. Anyway, long story short, he's arguing with me on Twitter, and in my Twitter bio it says, "Washed up has been, legend in my own mind, saving Jackson one show at a time. I host the Clay Edwards Show, blah blah blah." That's my little Twitter bio. Mm-hmm. Well, he basically says that me saying saving Jackson is a micro racist aggression.
Yeah,
but he thought a channel called Save Jackson was great until he saw who was doing it.
And Mr. Campbell is so open to discourse that he's now blocked me. I didn't say anything mean on that. What I said was, actually, I didn't attack him like I did Stacy, who freaking deserves it, by the way. I just said, look, you don't like it, but you can tune into the Clay Edwards Show tomorrow morning. We'll discuss this. And that's all I said. And then people, the minute I said that, everybody, his little cabal of idiots decided to attack me. And I wasn't mean back to them. I said, look, man, I said, you guys can listen. It's, and we can discuss this. And then now that was too much for him because I was the one person that didn't agree with his viewpoint. And so he blocks me now. Well, what a P word, by the way. That's.
Oh, look, I'm telling you, if y'all aren't interested in this conversation today, it's probably not going to be the show for you. But it's a FAFO Friday here on the Clay Edwards Show, and the Fondrenistas, as Shaun calls them, have FAFO'd, and we're taking them to task today. Yeah. This is the Clay Edwards Show with Shaun Yurtkuran. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Shaun, we only got 2 minutes here. There's no point in doing an ad break. What I want to say, and we're going to get into more of this, but what I told the Boyd guy when he was doing all this virtue signaling about everything I post is racist. Man, I just post the videos that people put on the internet. It ain't like I'm out filming this or looking for it. Like these people post, it's like libs of TikTok. All she's doing is reposting the stuff that these nut jobs are posting on there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm just taking their content or their crimes and putting it out there. People aren't breaking stories to me. Yeah. This is news stories that I'm just giving my opinions on, or it's videos that I have stumbled across or been tagged in of the young Taliban doing young Taliban stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're not investigative journalists here. Like Jerry Mitchell, who we've had on, is an investigative journalist. That's his profession. We don't do that. So
I told this dude, I said, man, there's going to come a day when one of these little Talibanians decide that they want what you have. Mm-hmm. When it's your turn to get yours, do you think you're going to show them this tweet? But no, look, guys, I was snarky to Save Jackson. I called Save Jackson a racist. Look, it's not going to save you. They don't care.
I mean, like I said, one time one of these folks is going to get killed, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's going to be, I wonder what the reaction is going to be when one of them gets killed. Like by somebody that's robbing somebody, just like, Mr. McNair and like that kind of bad situation. And, I'm not going to feel sorry for them. I'm being honest with that. I'm not going to.
I'm not going to either.
Not at all. I'm not going to feel sorry for them.
I'm going to get right up here and I'm going to say, I told you so. Let's take a break. We'll be right back in 7 minutes. Boom goes the dynamite, and it is about to go boom here in hour 2 of the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by our friends over at Guns and Gear. I may have to stop by there when we leave here today after this next hour of radio. Get out to Gluckstadt, safe Gluckstadt, Mississippi, and do some gun shopping, bro. I mean, who doesn't need another gun? Who doesn't need more freedom seeds? They got it all out there. Hunter and the team, accessories. They've always got some cool guns that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else. Like all that cool stuff you see on the internet, places you're still allowed to post pictures of guns. They got it at Guns and Gear. If they don't, they can get it. Check them out. Of course, they got you faded on all your Cerakoting and gunsmithing needs as well. They're your one-stop gun shop. And hey, got one you need to get rid of, want to trade one in as a down payment on a new gun, or however you want to do that. They do buy guns and they do accept trade-ins, and they pay fair market value price for them. Don't bother going to a pawn shop. Go to Guns and Gear, your one-stop gun shop, home of no limit ammo. I don't know if that's really been a thing lately where you haven't been able to buy as much as you want, but the closer we get to November, the more I believe that things are going to tighten up on that end again.
It's no limit ammo?
No limit.
So does Hunter have a lot of business coming out of Jackson? I would think so. I mean, that'd be your main source.
I mean, you would think.
Yeah, I would guess.
I mean, I know. Look, I support the gun shows. I support people's rights to own all the guns, to do the gun shows,
sure,
to all that stuff. But I've been to the gun shows around here, and I can tell you, boots on ground, seen it with my own eyes. I mean, I'm stereotyping a little bit here, but everybody does it. I'm just going to admit to it. I believe the gun shows are a big part of the problem.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
Like how so?
I mean, I'm just telling you. Well, first off, there is a gun show loophole.
Mm-hmm.
People keep saying it's not, and we're all just like, we're supposed to stick our heads in the sand and pretend there's not a gun show loophole because we're conservative. Clay, you're not allowed to say that. Mm-hmm. You're conservative. You can't admit there's a gun show loophole. There is a gun show loophole.
Okay.
Me and you could take our collection of guns,
mm-hmm.
and we can go set up a booth at a gun show and sell it to anybody we want without having to do a background check. Now, if it's a felon, we do in fact we'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you can't sell a gun to a felon.
Sure.
But we can roll that dice.
Just sell them, and that's
yeah.
So do a lot of like the Jackson criminals go up into the gun shows and buy guns, I guess?
I firmly believe so. I mean, there's a reason they moved it out of Jackson for one thing. Well, they moved one from Jackson to Pearl.
Yeah, I went to one in Jackson like 8 years ago in South Jackson at the
Shriners. That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah, I went to that with Bo and Jason Anderson. I went like about 8 years ago, and that's the only gun show I remember in Jackson.
I went about 3 years ago. I think I'd already moved from over there, or maybe I had. No, I think I was still living over there, so I went to it because it was right by the house. And man, I was uncomfortable in there.
Mm-hmm.
You got that Elton Road apartment complex, that HUD apartment complex right there.
Yeah,
and I'm just telling you. All the little guys you see on the videos with their guns and all, there's a gun show loophole. I don't care who don't want to hear that. It is what it is.
I'd rather go to Guns and Gear and buy my. I didn't really enjoy that experience at the gun show, to be honest with you.
No, I go to them because I love meeting the people. Mm-hmm. I mean, I support them. I ain't got no problem with it. But there is a gun show loophole.
Yeah.
Now, felons can't buy guns at a gun show. I mean, but they can. But the person that sells it runs the risk if they do something with it. But do you think they care? They go buy the gun, then they go commit their crime, and they just say they got it from somewhere,
The one I'd always see them on the street with over the years was those high point weapons that are real cheap. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Like and it's so funny because they'd shoot somebody like 8 times and they wouldn't die because the guns. You know what I mean? It's like this guy got shot 12 times with a high point whatever. And they're like, okay, there were so many high point weapons in evidence because it was like it's the cheapest gun to get.
It's like Tupac got shot 5 times, couldn't stop me.
Yeah. Yeah. One guy he got shot like 15 times and he lived to testify. And he'd said, I remember interviewing him, he's like, yeah, I drank a bottle of vodka and I, smoked a bag of weed and I got shot 15 times. So like, dude, you're resilient. Yeah. I mean, you're a resilient guy.
Black don't crack.
Yeah. It was over at, Hamps on Northside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was over in front of Hamps.
I saw a guy get shot there one night.
Did you really? Like it was because it was back when Malico Records used to be right next to it.
I'm such a racist. I used to hang out at Hamps.
Yeah. I've been to Hamps.
On Tuesday nights.
Is Hamps still open?
No, it's called something else. Now, it is a bar, but it's not Hamps.
Okay. I
went and did a podcast there one day with this chick, Felicia, that does podcasts and stuff. She's really good at what she does. She asked me to be a guest. So I went down in the heart of it all and walked right in there. People tell me I don't go to Jackson. I walked right beside Hamps, did a 2-hour-long podcast live on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like here I am in West Jackson. Mm-hmm. Northwest Jackson, whatever that is. Jerry, call back. I had you on hold. I want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. Shaun, I want to circle back to the white Fondren folks.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a call from Jerry first. Because I want to make sure we get back to them. On the Mazda Jackson phone line, we got Jerry.
Hey, guys. Good Friday. Well, actually, just a Good Friday, not the Good Friday.
Absolutely.
I don't know enough about the laws, but I think you can sell individual guns if you're an individual, but if you get a booth, you're a licensed dealer, and you're making a living on that. So I'm assuming that you have to do background checks. But individual sales, I've seen people at gun shows before walking around. They've got like a sticker on their head or something that says gun for sale. They're carrying it. Now, that doesn't mean they can't go out to their car and walk back in or something, or meet somebody in the parking lot. But if you have a booth, I think that you're conducting a business. I'm not sure, but I think that's the law for if you're actually selling it as a business. Now,
okay.
I was listening. I don't know. I'll defer to the lawyer. And
Jerry, I have no idea about this portion of the law. I really don't. That's why I was listening to Clay. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the way it was explained to me not too long ago, and I was like, well, because I think an individual can rent a table and sell their guns.
Oh, I didn't know that. But if you're,
I may be wrong.
Anyway, the law is that if you're doing it and you're selling more, basically, if you're making a profit or doing it for an income, or I don't know exactly. I was just listening to it because I've always heard, Kenny Stokes and talking about the gun show loophole, and I thought they were just probably talking about people like me if I wanted to sell, one of my excess guns or something, just going down there. And literally, I've seen people with long rifles and have a stick sticking out and say, hey, this gun's for sale, and they're walking through. And most of those were being bought by people with tables, because they're just, hey, I like that gun. Let me get it, and I'll resell it here and put it in my inventory, and because they can buy it from an individual. Now, the straw purchases, like Kim had a certain person call me on the show, was admitting to making straw purchases and giving his license, and is one of y'all's callers too. But I was just thinking, not sure if that's even close to being legal, where you're going up and saying, yeah, they didn't have a proper ID, so I used mine. And I'm like thinking, real good idea there to be putting that on the airwaves.
No, well, yeah, and that's the other thing is the straw purchases, and you don't think for 1 second that they ain't got the matriarchy, ain't got their mothers in there buying their guns for them.
Well, yeah, and I've actually seen it one time when I was at the counter of a big sporting goods store, and somebody was up there, and anyway, you could tell that they probably wouldn't pass a background check, but they had a girlfriend or something with them, and I'm like, I'm not sure I should be buying this, but hey, let me walk away, and before I get called as a witness, and I want to honestly be able to say I have no idea. I was not there. Well, look, I enjoy your show. Thank you, and good luck the rest of the day.
Thank you, brother. Man. Have a good weekend.
Hey, 1 minute, I want to know we're talking about the Fondren and Belhaven, right? Now we got attacked by another one. This guy is, it said something about, he said I was,
Is this on Facebook?
This is on Twitter, and he said that, bragging about the show's reach, you're the number 2 host on for the number 1 host that no one's ever heard of. Todd Kennedy, he's an enthusiast, film culture full professor at Nicholls State. And he's, apparently he's a big deal on Twitter, or he thinks so. Just thanks, Todd.
He lost me at culture.
Culture. Oh, he's forever a modernist too. Don't forget that.
A modernist.
I don't know. What is that? What does that mean?
A modernist. He says you're the number 2 host on the show that nobody's ever heard of.
Nobody's ever heard of. Yeah, that's what these Twitter folks are really angry about. My responses to Stacy and her, my opinion, her fake setup. At Ole Miss.
Yeah, Stacy's the Mississippi Free Press. I don't like to use the word journalist, but for the lack of a better term, journalist that reported on that filmed what I believe to be a staged race setup. Staged race baiting,
or staging to be a violent incident. I thought also too they could have anticipated that outcome, which was obviously because she is what sparked mine. I told you this last night. What sparked mine was I never responded to her at all. Like on she's constantly posting on Twitter about this incident. It's been 2 weeks now. And it's like she reminds me of somebody when I was a prosecutor.
Look at me.
Well, it's like somebody that was guilty. When somebody's really guilty, they're the ones that are going to yell, "I'm the innocent the most." Yeah. Like they're like, "I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it." That's when you know someone really did something. And so she's been doing that for 2 weeks. Finally, I was like, I had enough. I was like, all right. Like this, you need to, because I think she made some comment about you and it pissed me off. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So now I've been attacked by the whole cabal, which they can all go F themselves because I don't really care. But they, and it's because she, in my opinion, she did it and she's caught and that's what she doesn't like.
No, 100%.
100%.
So, let's go back to the beginning of Save Jackson. Well, hold on. Tim just sent something just concerning the gun show loophole. It says, do I have to have a federal firearms license to sell firearms at a gun show? It says, if you're conducting business and selling firearms for profit, you will likely need an FFL, but for private sales, it's usually not required. So,
Okay.
So again, I'm not 100%. I had it explained to me. I thought it was Clay Edwards could go run a booth and sell my firearms to private citizens and not have to do an FFL check or background check. So if I'm wrong, I'll stand on that and say I'm wrong. We will find out. I know Hunter's listening right now. Hunter, if you know, let me know. But none of it really matters. You need to be going out to Guns and Gear anyway.
Yeah, that's where you need to go. Go see Hunter.
Go see Hunter and the team. So I want to go back to the beginning of the Save Jackson stuff.
Yeah.
And the attitude of the Fondrenistas and the Belhavians since I did this, because they think that they're the only white voices that matter in Hinds County. In all of Hinds County, especially Jackson, nobody else's lived experience matters except theirs.
That's it.
And they live in this inclusive bubble.
Or non-inclusive, actually, right?
Yeah, non-inclusive bubble.
Because is there any black people that own a home in Belhaven? I live in Belhaven. I'm going to call that out. I mean, I think there may be. I don't know, but I walk around Belhaven every day. I don't see any black people that live there. Maybe in the apartments of the college students.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're talking about like we're so inclusive, like everybody's white that lives in Belhaven.
Well, what I meant
white.
by inclusive was they don't really have to leave Belhaven.
No, I didn't mean you. I meant like them. They're talking about all this inclusivity.
Oh, yeah.
We're so liberal, but I mean, I've lived in Belhaven since the summer of 2000. And the only time I didn't live there was when I lived downtown and I went to Ole Miss for 3 years for law school. So the last 25 years, basically. I don't see a black dude cutting his yard in Belhaven. There may be one that I'm just missing, but
Belhaven's like the Oscars, #too white.
yeah, it's very white. Like they're like, we're so liberal, but we don't live around any black people. Okay.
And we don't have any black people in our circle.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like we're so inclusive.
We have friends that know black people.
Yeah, we do, exactly. I mean, it's ridiculous when you think about it. Like, I'd love for black people to move in my neighborhood. Like, I think it'd be great, but like, I just wonder that you're saying that we're so inclusive, and then you live in a neighborhood and there's literally no black people that live there, except for maybe the college students.
Yeah. Let's take a call real quick on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on there.
Good morning, Clay. Big Ed here. A little piece of advice. If you're an individual selling a gun to an individual, the state has some forms that you should fill out proving that you sold that gun to that person to relieve yourself of liability if they use it in a commission of a crime. And it'll fall back on you because it's registered to you.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just me personally. I know this gets sideways with my conservative counterparts, but when people talk about common sense gun control, I would have no problem. To me, like the low-hanging fruit that would solve a lot of these problems outside of stolen guns, I get that. You're never going to stop that, is in these private sales, requiring the private sales to go through somebody with an FFL and do a background check. I pay them $20, $25. You clear yourself of any liability.
Yeah. Well, the FLL now costs about $1,500 for a dealer, and they normally charge above $75 for a transfer. But the paperwork, what it does is it covers you from selling that gun to somebody and proves to you if you're taken to court, you have written proof, their signature on it, and witness that the transfer was made legally.
Good stuff there, brother. I appreciate that. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.
No problem. Enjoying the show. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
Yeah, but I mean, back to the whole thing we were talking about. Like, Belhaven and Fondren are the whitest areas of Jackson, and we're talking about this. We're so diverse. Like Donna and her whole crew. Like we're so diverse. Really, you do? Well, why don't you go move to West Jackson?
Yeah, move to South Jackson.
Move to South Jackson. You're so diverse, but you live in the whitest area of the city.
Well, they always tell us we live in the good part of Jackson. No, you mean the white part.
Yeah, exactly.
You just say it. You mean the white part of Jackson. Shaun, why I've been at war with these people, and I know I don't have any redeeming qualities to them because I speak the truth and I'm a Trump supporter, and I, reluctantly a Tate Reeves supporter at times. They tell us constantly, my lived experience matters. Well, yeah, only if you agree with everything they agree with politically.
Yeah.
As long as you continue to put your head in the sand and pretend all this ain't really going on around here. Mm-hmm. Now, I grew up in South Jackson, what I would call the good part of South Jackson.
Yeah.
Not the McDowell Road area, a little further out south, the Forest Hill Road area, which was legitimately
It was great at that time, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
And over the last 10, 15 years, no offense to the people out there, there's still a lot of good homeowners out there. Y'all know, like I know, it's gone to crap, and Byram is really just 2010 South Jackson.
Yeah, it's kind of where it is at. I was talking to somebody about that the other day, and we were having a long discussion about it.
And that's not a compliment.
No, it's not. I mean, you think about it too. Like you were just saying, like, so you're in Belhaven and Fondren, and of course I live in Belhaven, and you're jumping on people that live in Rankin or Madison County because you guys are a bunch of racists because you wanted to move out there. Like, but you literally live in the whitest areas of the city. You don't go to any bars or restaurants with black people. You don't do any of that, but you're so inclusive. I'm just tired of that kind of rhetoric. And then like getting mad when people point out that we've got a massive crime problem. And somehow, we're racist because we say there's crime. Because, because somebody broke into my home, y'all remember, over Christmas. And what am I supposed to be like? Oh, well, he just didn't mean to do that. Give me a break.
I grew up in my dad's store on Lynch Street. We owned a nightclub on Capitol Street that was 99% black from 2002 to 2010, 2011. I don't ever remember seeing any of these people.
Yeah.
In that black club, in that predominantly black store. Mm-hmm. I was there every weekend. Where were y'all?
Right.
I mean, hashtag Belhaven Too White. Where were y'all at?
Mm-hmm.
Don't. I grew up in South Jackson and stayed there till 3 years ago. Y'all act like when I started this whole Save Jackson thing that my voice didn't matter, my opinions didn't matter, my lived experience didn't matter. I was working right on Highway 80 at Watkins Auto Sales across from the Metro Center, right in the heart of it all. I was able to get so much firsthand content just sitting out there in the parking lot. Yep. Of the nonsense going on around here. But I'm told, shut up, bigot. Shut up, racist. Your opinion don't matter. You don't even hashtag. I even put it on a shirt. It says Save Jackson. Do you even live in Jackson? It's in one of my logos. Because I got asked that question so much. Do you even live here? Do you even live here? I grew here. You flew here. Literally. Most of y'all just got here a few years ago, and you act like you're a bunch of damn urban warriors.
100%.
Because you found the whitest part of the city to live in.
Yeah.
Hashtag so white that we had the rest of the state has to pay for you a damn police department.
I want to clap right now. Like, that's exactly a great point. That's a great point.
We're having to pay for you, the Capitol Police. Now, I support that because, believe it or not, I do support a strong, healthy Jackson.
Sure.
I do support these business owners that are stuck here. But
then act like you don't like the Capitol Police. That's the other thing they do.
Oh, yeah.
They run that game. They're like, oh, they like the protection, but then they got to like virtue signal and say, oh, but we're against this because this is definitely just as wrong that the state is protecting the only white area of Jackson that we happen to live in, by the way. But it's wrong. But they really want it.
Yeah. And now it protects more than just that.
Yeah.
But they'll stick their head in this. And when you saw the news. Plenty of black people outside of the Capitol Police area wanted it badly because they live in areas that truly need more policing.
And I want them to have it. They deserve to be protected just like anybody else does in the city. I mean, they deserve that. They deserve to live a safe life.
Meanwhile, in hashtag Belhaven Too White, Fondren Too White, they're like, oh, this is racism. Jeff Good. Yeah. I lost all respect for Jeff Good.
That really made me angry too.
When he said HB 1020 is racist. What?
And when you say things like that, this is the whole point of this whole show.
It's enabling.
You're enabling people to get killed. And that's what pisses me off more than anything, because you're not looking at reality, what is going on down there in the streets. You're just virtue signaling to people to show that you're not that racist, and so you can say this. And I'm not going to accuse Jeff Good of that, but there's just so many people in the, he did that, but there's so many people in the community that have virtue signaled like this to the point where people are dying because of it, and that's sickening to me.
Yeah. Let's take a break. This is the Clay Edwards Show with Shaun Yurtkuran. We'll be right back. Shaun?
Yep.
Breaking rules when necessary. People know, you know what that means now? You get it?
Yeah, I get so. I mean, I just did call Belhaven Fondren the most racist area of the city, which I truly believe that. But, I mean, I'm going to get kicked out, everybody, so just let me know. But it is true.
So, I mean, look. They shouldn't care. I mean, according to them, nobody listens to this show anyway.
Nobody listens. That's right. That's what they say on Twitter. Nobody's listening.
This is just a tree falling in the woods.
Yeah, nobody's paying attention, right? Okay, that's cool.
The live stream's so jammed up, nobody else can get on.
Mm-hmm.
It's the number one show in central Mississippi, but hey, nobody's listening.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been trying to ring these people's bells for 4 years, done rung it, and they want to come back with nobody listens to this show anyway.
But when you click on the Mississippi Free Press, it says give to our 501c3 today. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could, have you stooped to that level yet? Where you're a 501, nothing wrong with 501c3s, by the way. I'm not hating on people like that, but
Only about half of them.
But sometimes when you think when you're a media outlet, you probably need to have advertisers because that means people listen.
Well, it's how
I'm
they
hating today. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just really mad.
It's how they protect themselves from the monster they created, known as cancel culture.
Yeah.
So they come after all of us and our sponsors and all this stuff. Meanwhile, they sit back there in this cocoon of 501c3.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that wildly hypocritical.
Yeah, because, George Soros gives them a bunch of money or whatever to keep this kind of BS that they write up. That's cool. Do what you want, I mean.
Let's read some text on the Guns of Gear text line. How about we?
Okay.
Fred asked if we need some beer already.
Hey, Fred, we'll meet you at Martin's later, buddy.
Let's see here. Lane says Belhaven is whiter than Eastover.
I mean, it is. Oh, look, JPD in breaking news investigating homicide at Northside Drive gas station.
Yeah, somebody sent me that a minute ago. I forgot to mention it. So, again, Jackson gas stations.
And another thing that the accessories before the fact to murder have enabled.
They refuse to talk about
it.
They
want to talk about this. And this is a nice gas station, too, the fuel time.
Yeah. Right, so they don't talk about, your Mississippi Free Press, they don't talk about Jackson crime. You know what they do? You know what they do? They find old black and white photos of racism.
Yeah. They do.
To constantly dredge up.
What are they going to do, like, when, in 50 years when it's it's like those photos look like Civil War photos, like, oh, do you remember back 200 years ago there was,
Emmett Till.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to, well, I don't even know why I'm saying about 50 or 100 years from now, because we're not going to have a Jackson then anyway. I mean, it's going to be gone, so that's fine.
Yeah. I can't wait till they eventually put the gated entrances at Belhaven.
Which, by the way,
they tried.
I'm glad you brought that up. So we have tried that, and there have been people in the neighborhood that didn't want it.
And I support that, by the way. I think you should be able to keep criminals out of your neighborhood.
Why not? Why?
I mean, I suggested putting an entire wall around Fondren and photo checking everybody like it's the Berlin Wall going east to west, so you know who's in there and who's not, and that would, in theory, eliminate crime.
There was there was a map of where they'd put the gates or barriers or whatever, and there was this has gone on for several years, and then of course some people we can't do that, and a lot of us were like, yeah, we need to do that, and then of course my suggestion was like, I'm just going to build a machine gun nest in my front yard, because if y'all don't want to do anything, and somebody's going to come in, and obviously somebody did break in my house when I was there, and and then there's 2 carjackings in front of my house at one night, I'll take matters in my own hands. Because you want to virtue signal to the rest of the city that you're not a racist, and so I don't want to put up these gates. But it's okay if somebody kills me. That's fine. I'm just so sick of it, man. There was a murder in front of, a block over from me about 6 years ago on Poplar, right? Mm-hmm. And it was in front of, old Judge Gowan died recently. He was a mentor of mine, really good close friend, and it was across the street from his house. And this guy got shot in the back. And so we were on next door and all talking about it, and all these idiots were just giving their theories on, well, maybe it was a suicide, but he was shot in the back. And the sheriff at that time, I forget who the sheriff was, had said, I think it was Victor Mason or whatever, had said
he
that.
Epsteined himself.
Lee was, yeah. And he, he committed suicide, and don't, Shaun, don't call this a murder. I'm like, this is literally a block from my house, and this dead guy's in this garden that's right there on the corner of Peachtree and Poplar. And I'm like, what do you want me to call it? This is what happened. The dude's dead, shot in the back. He's in the garden, right? They're like, and I mean, it was just a litany of comments. People were threatening to, I was a racist for saying this, and I don't know how I'm a red. This dude's dead, shot in the back.
You just assume a black guy did the crime.
I didn't even know what the race of the guy was. I mean, it read that a dead guy was in the back of my. It was in the garden. They were shot in the back, and then somebody messaged me on there Shaun, you don't know what kind. Do you know the difference between murder and manslaughter? I was like, yeah, I especially know the difference between, I don't know anything about vaccines or, medical science, but I know about murder and manslaughter pretty well. And they're just going crazy. So I called Judge Gowan. I remember I said, hey, Judge, he was trying to sell his house at that time. I said, do you want me to move the body before you show the house this morning? Or do you? I know that's sick, but hey, look, man, you got to have some sense of humor when you live in Jackson.
Oh, you do. I mean, you become numb to it a little bit.
You do.
I mean, you
really
have
do.
to. And that's always kind of been my thing. It's like I never want to normalize this stuff.
No.
I want to always treat every murder like it's important.
Yeah, I mean, it should be. But if you see so much of it, everybody's just getting smoked every day. After a while, you're like, am I next? I mean
this gas station homicide, I don't even have to open the app up to tell you that it was probably some type of interpersonal violence. And by interpersonal, I mean gang violence.
Yeah.
It was gang violence, and I bet you they shot an innocent person.
I mean,
because they can't aim.
Can we call it gangs, or are they going to say we're racist for that too?
Or to admit that there's gangs in Jackson?
Or that gangs run South Jackson now? That they don't even want to go down there because they run South Jackson, which Chief Wade has said publicly. Yep. Who, by the way, I want to say that Chief Wade and Bo Lucky had a press conference yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. I think it was yesterday. It was great because you saw two guys there that actually are working as a team. I thought that was really impressive. They actually were high-fiving each other in the press conference, and I was like, these are two guys that actually care about what's going on here. And it's nice to see that there's people like us out there that do care and are trying to do a good job and care about the city. But all these other people like the Hamas Free Press that just want to ruin it all. That they're not everybody. That there's other people that do want to prevent crime, do want to protect people's lives, and it's nice to see that. So thanks, Chief Lucky and Chief Wade. Appreciate that press conference. I think was a very good. Yeah, I don't know. It was inspiring. I thought watching it.
Well, and Chockley's sitting back there on the phone. Hey man, free that killer.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure he probably bonded him out, or he didn't get a bond.
Well, there's no bond for now, but I'm sure Ben Crump will be skydiving in, and somebody, and it's going to be like, look, this was an LGBTQ thing going wrong. It was self-defense. They're going to paint this. Did I just let the cat out the bag? We'll be right back. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Into it next. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, guys, let's talk about lunch real quick. 2 different spots. Well, really, 4 different spots, but 3 of them are the same place. Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, whether it's Madison, the all-new Flowwood location right there at Dogwood, located in front of Dick's Sporting Goods. It's the coolest spot of the 3, in my opinion. I love the little patio. Today, and of course downtown Brandon, which has been absolutely killing it lately. If you're not hanging out on the big patio at downtown Brandon on Wednesday nights with us, I don't know what you call yourself doing. For Cordless Corner, Shaun, catch an Uber, come have a beer with us. But today, plate lunch is fried catfish. I mean, that's a Mississippi tradition right there. That's a FAFO Friday tradition right there, fried catfish in the sip. But hey, not in the mood for fried catfish. The other blue plate special is hamburger steak. The sides are turnip greens, okra. And, of course, it's fried.
I love turnip greens. Of course,
it's fried okra. And, of course, mashed potatoes as well. And you can always get one of their amazing burgers, award-winning burgers, grilled chicken sandwiches, B3 bowls, and more. You truly can eat healthy at Burgers Blues at Barbecue if you want to. They got the Smash Burger special back this month, only $10. You get a drink, side, and the Smash Burger for $10. You cannot beat that. I promise you, you won't regret it. Try the Smash Burger and get over there today. Be sure to check out the Flowwood location, open right now for breakfast. Go get some of them chicken and waffles and reverse happy hour specials.
That sounds so good, by the way.
It does.
Today, I'm so fired up today. That actually sounds like something I want to go do.
I know. I finally got back in ketosis after getting out of it for a couple of days and knocked off a couple more pounds.
Okay.
That's something Stacy should try to do. And I'm down to a total of 17 pounds lost since April 20th.
That's great. That's a lot, man.
I mean, just a little discipline goes a long way.
It does, yeah. And I just I had court all week. So
I hate to go dive into chicken and waffles and a Bloody Mary
but it sounds
lunchtime.
so good.
Man, it sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, I had court every day this week, and so today's the one day I don't. I'm like, oh, that sounds really good.
Hey, real quick, one other thing. If you're in Gluckstadt looking for somewhere to eat, man, Johnny's Pizza. They got some great lunch specials. And, of course, you can get all these things in large and extra large versions and all that stuff. And, look, I did it one night. We were out at my buddy Corey's house out there. I stopped by, grabbed 3 large pizzas. The staff was so nice. I was that guy. I went in 10 minutes before 9, right as they were getting ready to close. I'm like, I will tip y'all well. Will you please make me a couple pizzas? We're starving. They did it with a smile on their face. And come full circle now. Get out there. Guys, you can eat lunch at Johnny's. You can get a pizza and a drink for as low as $6.99 at lunchtime at Johnny's right there in Gluckstadt, located right in front of Mack Hike, right over there by what's the Gluckstadt High School called? Germantown.
Yeah.
Right over by Germantown High School. Real easy to find. Right there in that new shopping center in front of Mac Hike next to Big Ten. That's Johnny's Pizza. All right, Shaun.
I did have we were kind of leading in that Par and Bridges thing last segment, and one thing I do want to say, everybody's listen on that, and I was reading about this yesterday. There's a lot of online hate about. So apparently, this Lindsay guy was convicted of a business burglary in Madison County last year, 2023. And he received what's called pretrial diversion or non-adjudication.
This is the suspect.
The suspect in
the admitted murderer.
Yeah, he couldn't confess. So, and so last year he broke into Pepito's, I think, the Mexican restaurant in Madison, and he was given non-adjudication or something. And people were hating on Judge Dewey Arthur. I'm just saying that's the most unfair thing that I've seen. Like, first of all, I know Judge Arthur. He was a great prosecutor in Hinds County for years, and Rankin Madison. He's a good judge. Like, that is a routine offer in a case like that, like in a business burglary. That is something that I've done it a million times. Like, and every other prosecutor has too. So, like, people getting on him is not fair. And just having been in that position, like, you just don't have a crystal ball when what these guys are going to do. I've had a situation where I did the same thing on an auto burglary, and then like 3 months later, the guy got out and killed somebody. And yeah, you feel horrible about it, but how are you supposed to know that a
nonviolent offender?
Yeah,
is you got a rule book you kind of go by a little bit.
Sure,
in Jackson, where it grinds my gears is they're letting violent offenders out to do it again.
That's a different story, right? That's a different. But what Judge Arthur agreed to here, and the DA's office are actually one that gave the offer, and they didn't do anything wrong. And I mean, it was something that just routinely done. Like I guess the guy was a first time offender, and I mean, I've done that a million times.
Real quick, and I want to get to not your average Joe's on hold. I want to get to him real quick. Real quick, Shaun, you think that Jody Owens should set an example and go for the death penalty on this, don't you, right?
Yeah, I think this is one of the times where you need to send the message. I think, and Jody just they convicted a guy yesterday for 4 counts of capital murder. Great job by them. I think this is the time, and the last death penalty case in Hinds County is actually the one I tried in 2013, which was against James Hutto. So they haven't tried a death penalty case in 11 years in Hinds County. And this is the time that this kind of crime, this is when you send the message. Like, it happened, where it happened is part of it. I would have done it I don't think the St. Patty's Day murderer is charged with capital murder. I think it's just straight murder because he didn't have another crime attached to it. But if let's say he did, that's one I would have sought the death penalty on because that's kind of an event.
High profile.
So high profile that you need to send the message that that's not acceptable in this community, those kinds of crimes. And I think Par and Bridges is a really good example where I would immediately seek the death penalty in this guy. Like, I think he needs to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's possible that it was even where he thought he knew he was going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't
premeditated.
Really, that doesn't factor in really to that. No, it's just like it's a capital murder. He robbed him. A robbery is the connected felony to it. So that's it. Like, you rob somebody, you kill him, capital murder. And so yeah, I think he needs to do it though.
I like it. Let's take a call here on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Not your average Joe. You got 3 minutes, brother.
Hey, talking about the gun show loophole. Every time I've been to a gun show, just about every table in there, I have never seen one that you didn't have to get a background check at. That's not saying that you don't have private party sales, like if an individual walks in with a gun from his home that, private collection, and he wants to sell it to a dealer, or someone walks up to him and say, hey, is that gun for sale? Yeah. I'll give you $200 for it, whatever, and they exchange. I mean, to me, that's the only place I've ever seen where a background check wasn't done at a gun show.
Okay.
And the other thing is, straw purchases, yes, I have seen that where the suspicious-looking person's buying a gun probably for someone else. That does concern me.
Oh, look, we used to get that a ton in the car business. I mean, and most people don't even know it's illegal, so they just blatantly tell you. And believe it or not, as much as I like making money, I would never partake in them. And it didn't, as a salesperson, it didn't never fall back on me at all. It was going to be on the finance guy in the dealership. But as a sales guy, I was always going to be in the clear, but I didn't want to do it. I was like, man, I'm just not going to take part in a straw purchase. And, at some point you have to use common sense in these cases and say, you're the one here holding the gun, doing the site checks, doing all this stuff, but this other person's buying it. Nope, sorry, this don't make sense.
The other thing is, if you ever played Clue, if Colonel Mustard killed Miss Peacock in the study, it doesn't matter whether she used a rope, a knife, the revolver. or a lead pipe, Miss Peacock is still dead. And when you try to start passing laws against tools, because that's essentially a gun is just a tool, it can be used for offense or defense, you really never reduce crime. I mean, and I think that when we, no matter the tool being used, I think we should focus our laws and our prosecutions on the crime committed, not on the tool used to commit it.
Well, we never go after any other tool of death when they're used in the commission of a crime. Brother, great call. Have a great weekend. I got to take my break.
Yes, thank you.
Sean, do you have something you want to say?
No.
All right. We'll be right back to close out the show for the day. This is the Clay Edwards Show with Shaun Yurtkuran. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. It's been a FAFO Friday here with Shaun Yurtkuran. I think we've reestablished what FAFO means.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be a moving van over my house when I get home.
Stacy Boyd and the other Fondren nieces fawed yesterday, and they fowed today.
The Hamas Free Press and Donna and all them. Yep.
You know, let's end the show like this, Sean. Good guys, I got all your texts. Y'all killed it today too. We just did not have time to get to them. Thank y'all so much. With all that we said today about Fondren, Belhaven, I'll always die on this hill. There's some great people over there. I'm sitting across from one of them right now. There's some great businesses over there. There's some good people doing great things. And you know I'm not talking to y'all.
Yeah, no, it's got nothing. Man, there's such great business. The breweries there. Stephen O'Neill owns Manship. That's wonderful. Yep. Like I love. I'm not. It's not like I don't like my neighborhood, but I want to recognize reality, and I want people to be safe. And I think that these people that we're discussing are detached from reality, and they're hurting the neighborhoods. That's my opinion on it.
Well, they tell me all the time, "What are you doing to save Jackson?" I'm like, "What are you doing? I live here." But you're sticking your head in the sand and calling any and everybody a racist that points out where the problem is and what the problem is. And by the way, I do offer a hashtag positive solution to these problems. Y'all just think those positive solutions are racist.
Yeah, I mean, and they've asked me that before. What are you doing? I said, I spent 10 years trying to seek justice for victims of crimes in Jackson. So that's what I did. I
have put myself so out there that I can't safely live in Jackson. I'm getting death threats from South Jackson gangs. So that's what I do. Been my hill to die on for a minute. Shaun, great show.
Yep.
We'll see y'all back here Monday. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Peace.